Here are the most important things when you are focusing on creating a premium brand. Number one is making sure that the experience is seamless from start to finish. So when somebody's going to your website, making sure it's clean and direct. Then when they go to book the appointment, how is the process?
But I think even starting before that, so like your social media presence as a whole, and creating a premium brand on social media, and premium can be in any type of brand. So it doesn't necessarily just mean you have to be the kind of hotel fancy premium, but it could be whatever your branding is, as long as it feels premium, as long as it feels like a fancy version of that. But I think even when they land on your Instagram itself, if that's how they're finding you, is important. But then then it would be the website would be the next step, and making sure that it's easy to navigate. They know where to go.
Whether it's your Instagram that they're coming to, or it's your Google account that they're coming to. So either way, making sure that when they see those photos or they see your space, that it looks premium, that it looks clean. So,
or even when they see you, right? So I think even the profile picture on your Instagram or the first picture on your Google My Business, if it's of you, it should probably be in your space and not just a typical headshot. In my personal opinion, I love the idea. You want them to come into your business. They're not going into a white backdrop studio. And I think that if the only option that you have is to take those professional headshots is great, but I'd prefer a photographer coming to your space, taking a picture of you in your treatment room. So before a client even comes into you, or comes to you, they already kind of like, they know what it feels like. They feel comfortable there. They know where the bed is. They know where the chair is.
Like they know the experience that they're going to get. And that's where the word experience comes from. And the word premium comes from, because it's not misleading. It's they know exactly what they're going to get from start to finish, because the whole experience was seamless. And I think people focus on the experience in the treatment room, which is amazing. And I do emphasize on that, but focus on the experience, like in those little tiny details, because I've had amazing feedback from my clients that it was so easy to book an appointment. Everything was so clean. And so I encourage you to look at every little detail of your business, and not, cheapen out on the little details that truly do matter in your business. One thing I also want to talk about is how you present yourself on social media. I think something that has stood me apart, and this is not to toot my own horn, but this is to help you. So showing up in professional clothing every single day, wearing scrubs. I know it sounds silly, but this has helped me attract my dream clientele, because to me, number one, it makes it, when somebody views me, they see me as a professional, and I know that I am, but it shows you that you're not showing up in just casual clothing.
So I'm going to disagree a little bit. So I do fully agree. But what I want to disagree with is that if your brand is maybe not medical aesthetics, but still coming in, I would say business professional clothing is a non-negotiable across the board. But if you're a, say, holistic esthetician, I think there's clothes you can wear to make you feel holistic, right? I think there's professional clothing that you could be wearing that your clients can resonate with, because I do think there is an aspect of, depending on your type of brand, that a client can go, she gets me, right? But when people come to you with our specific, which you are kind of, majority of the industry are medical estheticians, right? In my opinion, it seems like that's where most people are going now. So I do highly recommend scrubs. And that's why your clients come to you and go, she must know what she's doing. She comes correct with the way she dresses. But I do think that depending on your niche and on your brand, I am okay with some estheticians dressing accordingly. But I would say majority of estheticians should be coming with scrubs. I didn't mean to disagree with you like it was some kind of no, you're a liar, because we've talked about this before, and I'm definitely full on board with scrubs.
I mean, that was just an example of me as a provider in person, showing up in professional gear. And so whether that means you showing up in scrubs or you showing up with a professional outfit, I do think that is really, really important, and people will take you seriously, because it's all about that first impression when people see you in person. It's being put together, and I mean, don't put, I feel bad because like, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like you have to be this perfect person because that's not realistic. But like how you present yourself and how you dress is a huge aspect of how people will view you in the treatment room. And again, if you're more, you're right. If you're more holistic, you can still show up professionally. Yep. That's totally okay. But making sure that you're giving a good professional first impression, whether that's in business, attire or being, more casual, but still like looking put together, that does make a big difference.
Yep. And I think that's where I think it's really difficult with comparison. And I would recommend that if you're an esthetician that's comparing yourself to the bigger dogs in the space, the bigger aesthetics, I would say big dogs, but the bigger estheticians in the space, is a lot of them do dress more casual and they are fully booked. And I think that us getting started and you showing up to work every day and going, I don't have a lot of clients. I need every client to see me like this is everything to me. And I'm going to give them everything I got. This isn't a side job. This isn't a hobby for me. This is everything. I'm pouring all my energy, all my knowledge into creating the perfect experience for a client. So when you compare yourself to bigger people in the space, and even you, it's very rare, but there's days that you can go in not in scrubs, but you also are going to see clients you've been seeing for the past 2 years that know you, that almost want to see you in a dress because they might go, Victoria, put a dress on. It's hot outside. Stop wearing those scrubs.
This just made me think, if you think about like the relationship that you have like with friendships, or even if you're dating somebody, you're always going to present yourself the very best way that you can. And as you get more comfortable with someone and as you get deeper into that relationship, you can dress more casually.
Okay, so this is a hot topic right here. Okay, so I'm going to stop Victoria right here and go, don't get too comfortable with your spouse. You should show up for them anyway, okay? I tell Victoria this all the time. Don't put makeup on for other people you don't know. Put makeup on for me. Okay, so I had to cut that in there really quickly.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so I do love that idea, that comparing it to a new relationship or a new friendship, I think is an amazing just the mindset you're going into when you go to work every day. And I think for you, I don't know if you feel the same, but it's like putting your uniform on to go to work is like, it just feels, something about it just feels right. Like I'm putting this on to go. It does feel easy. You don't have to think about it, but it's like I'm putting my uniform on to go to work and be the freaking super esthetician. Right. And I think that's a cool mindset to put yourself in, that you're not wearing the same clothes that you do on a night out than you do to go to work.
And not that you're going to like be unprofessional, but if you think about it, if you're fully booked and your clients are like, oh, I know this girl, she, I feel like we're best friends, and it should be like that. But that does give you truly more flexible freedom to dress the way that you want to dress. But like, again, as you're building your clientele, as you're building these relationships, show up in the best form of yourself. And again, it's going to translate towards the same as if you're getting to know a friendship or being in a relationship.
Yeah, but I think, not to be too dramatic here, but imagine a client leaving and saying, I don't know, she was just like the way she dressed, it just didn't feel like she was taking it serious. Yeah. And I think that's a real thing. I mean, it may sound crazy to some people, but it's like if you go to the doctor's office and a nurse is wearing jeans and a hoodie, you might not take her very serious as a nurse, right? You're going to think, what? Exactly. How you show up to your job like this?
I mean, a doctor shows up every single time in the white lab coat, and you're like, yeah, you're right. If they showed up in jeans, I'd be like, I need a new doctor.
You wouldn't take them serious. And I know we want to compare ourselves to nurses or doctors that were completely different, but they show up like that for a reason. I mean, when you go to the regular doctor's office, the nurse does not have to wear scrubs. She's not performing surgery on anybody, but they do to create a professionalism and an environment that people feel comfortable and safe and understanding that these people are there to treat them. So I want to go back onto the booking website really quickly as we kind of finish a few of these major points on the whole experience from start to finish. But I think even the booking website, I think people should look at their booking website. And we've recently explored that some of the kind of lower level or quote unquote lower level ones have been getting much better. But I think, and we did this early on, we went through 3 different booking websites when we started. Book an appointment and go through the entire process yourself. And if there's any point in that process that you feel like are a headache or confusing, not that you need to switch, but make sure that's explained or try to make that easier for clients when it comes to booking an appointment. If you go and click to book an appointment in a 30 services drop down for a new client
or 30
add-ons, it's very confusing. Like, I just want a facial. What add-on do I click?
The
what
average
facial?
consumer
The 30,
doesn't know
60,
what they
90?
even need.
Yeah. Do I need the glow getter? Do I need the glow and hater? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to give other facial names, but it's very confusing, and not everybody is warmed up to this community. They don't know the names. They don't even know what dermaplaning is half the time. You need to explain that. And if your services don't clearly explain what dermaplaning is directly under it, which is why we send people to our website before our booking link, is so they can see what dermaplaning is and what it does. That's just things that people should be thinking about and looking, because say you're getting a ton of new reach on your Instagram and the bookings aren't coming through, there's a bottleneck in your funnel. Somewhere in the process, people are not booking a service because they're confused, they're overwhelmed, they don't know what you do. There might be too many services. But I'll stop that there because before I go too many tangents there. But do you have anything to add on as far as the booking site?
I know as we continue this podcast and we grow a business and we see new things, that are getting better and evolving in other booking platforms. One thing I wanted to address is that I've recently noticed, and I don't know if it's always been this way and I just have never known, but like Gloss Genius seems like they're stepping up their game.
They definitely made a big upgrade when we first looked into it.
Yeah. So I would highly, recommend, and, I just wanted to put out there that we recommend Boulevard for booking system, but this is truly a platform that like we love, and it's been seamless, but it is a little bit more expensive.
Way more expensive compared to say a Gloss Genius.
So if you are growing, I would probably recommend Gloss Genius.
Yeah, now at this point, for sure. Yeah.
And I saw on somebody's booking system is that it connects to their website. And that's something that side note is that you want them to stay on the website.
Yep. For tracking and for them just to fully understand everything before they book that service.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put it out there that, we love Boulevard and we would recommend Boulevard to the day we die. But if that is too steep for you,
calm down on the day we die. What if something better comes?
Yeah. Well, exactly. You know what I mean? But if one thing, I just want to recommend that, but if that is too steep for you, and unfortunately I did recently figure out that they don't take on everyone. So sadly, if that's a contraindication for you, I would recommend Gloss Genius.
Yeah, Gloss
instead.
Genius so far is probably one of our next best. So let's go back to, we talked about website, we talked about the way you dress, but let's talk about creating the best kind of overall end to end when it comes to in the treatment room. Is there certain things that you'd recommend kind of elevating or doing better when it comes to creating a premium brand in the treatment room? Like any kind of add-ons, like what would those, let's say the basics, I'm sure you can list everything in the treatment room, but what things do you think when you upgraded to went, oh yeah, clients notice a difference?
I would say number one is the average consumer doesn't know what to book. So one thing I've learned is I do have a few add-ons, but majority of the time I make it easy for my clients to book an appointment. So including all those add-ons in your facial can avoid all the confusion. So having those experiences already included in your facial. So number one, you have the dedicated time to give to your clients and you're not just rushing in and out. And if somebody wants to add on and you're like, oh crap, I don't have enough time. It's already included in the experience, number one. But the moment that somebody walks into your door, hey, how are you today? And creating that small talk and making them feel comfortable, giving them that water so they have something to hold and something to conversate with you, with. And then from there, it's all about the experience in the room. So whether that's you creating the perfect room of somebody feeling like they can instantly relax or instantly connect with you, that's really important. So don't cheapen out on your linens. Don't cheapen out on your spa bed. Don't try to go the cheap route. Spend that money that you were going to spend on, let's say, even ads that month and put it into your treatment room. So that first month, try to create that perfect experience. And then from there, you can expand. I would say even adding in something that has changed my facials drastically would be when I first started, I added in facial massage. I added in that extra TLC, gua sha, LED, things like that really elevated the client experience. And I'm not like, hey, so this would be amazing for your skin. It's an extra $15. It's like, no, just include it in the price and create that perfect experience.
Because early on we didn't have that. And I kept pushing you. Did you sell an add-on? Did you sell an add-on? And you're like, Chris, you don't understand. It's awkward and it feels pushy and it feels uncomfortable. Yeah. And when you're immediately meeting them for the first time and goes, hey, you know, a massage would be amazing for an extra $25. Like they would rather just pay $25 more on the facial and just get it without having to think about it and without you feeling like you're selling them on something. I mean, general upsells people don't generally like, right? A lot of people like to just pay it all in the price, and they feel comfortable with that, and they know you as the expert will just give them what they need. Like you mentioned, where you go, would you like to add on LED for $25? And they're like, you should tell me that. But then it's kind of like, well, I have to charge you $25.
You have no idea how many times I've told people, like ask them about LED light therapy if they've ever had it, and they're like, what the heck is that? Like it's like it just shows that the average person does not know. Which would be
terrible on the booking website to do LED add-on because nobody knows what that means.
I do have LED
They're like,
add-on.
But it's terrible. It maybe and it doesn't work. Nobody ever adds it on as a booking.
So we definitely need to change that because we do include it in
all your services anyway. But I know it's something that's one of the old us. That's a new thing that we're learning as we move forward. But yeah, I think those are some of the main. I think there is one kind of last main point I want to touch on as far as to creating the perfect end-to-end client experience. But before we jump into the last main point, I want to say thank you to our sponsor of this week's podcast, which is our own Patreon, Optimized Aesthetics. If you're not on there already, jump on there. It is an amazing community with stock footage. If you're not ready or don't know how to film your own content yet, use that stock footage to bring new clients in the door as you learn to film yourself. There is over 50 videos currently there with more coming out every single month. There's some exciting new projects there. So feel free to jump onto that Patreon. It is $65 a month. I promise you will not regret it. Do you want to add anything and to thank our sponsor ourselves?
No, thank you so much to our Patreon members. It has been such an amazing community, and you know, teaching how to market your business, going into depth, you know, having access to directly message us, and having those exclusive videos that come out every single month is truly remarkable. And being able to learn how to edit and shoot yourself, and I mean, it's endless amounts of videos that you can, you know, learn and grow your aesthetics business with having that community, endless community. As long as you're a part of the Patreon.
Yeah, but thank you, Patreon, for keeping the lights on for this podcast. And we will go ahead and continue this conversation. From end to end, it's very important to keep the premium brand all on point. Absolutely. So when they enter the Instagram, when they hit the Google, they have to see the same things that they're seeing on your Instagram post, in your Instagram bio, all the way down to the booking website. And those things need to correlate with the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you show up on your stories. I think is also a huge factor. I think it's good to bring your personal life in, but that personal life on your business profile should correlate with the way you do business, right? Don't have some kind of huge contradiction that you are a party animal at the clubs every weekend on Instagram stories, but then when you go to the office, you wear I don't know, like a lab coat.
Yeah, right? You definitely have to keep it very cohesive. Throughout every aspect of your business. So you want people to know you, but like in a way where it's still professional, you can show up, and not that you have to be this perfect person, but I mean, clients naturally and people naturally have first impressions. They have preconceived ideas of you, and you just want to keep that as clean as possible. I mean, if you think about it, you always want your personal life to be separated from your professional. You want people to know you, but to an extent. That's why I have a business phone versus a personal phone.
Exactly.
So you want to keep that professionalism to where people respect you and they don't feel like they're like, hey girl, I woke up I partied too hard last night. I have to cancel my appointment.
Because you're besties.
Yeah. We're close, but we're like, we respect each other.
Exactly.
So always show up and keep that professionalism, make sure that everything is cohesive and that you can, bring that personal touch to it, but keep it professional.
And I think that's where the niche is important. That's okay to niche down and be yourself and attract people like you, but let's also not only attract people who are just like you, because there's not as many people out there who are just like you that can fill up your books.
People don't have to know every single aspect of your life. I think that the most things that my clients can relate to is, for instance, me being a mom, or me being like, I had a freaking hard day. Like this was such a hard day, and I don't know what to do with my life right now. It's just little things like that here and there. But in my opinion, there's no reason to post like things that can make people have preconceived ideas of you.
Yeah, because you're just going to close off. And especially if you are an amazing,
that's what your close friends and family are for.
When you're an amazing, knowledgeable esthetician that can change people's lives, don't close off people because you're too niche down in your own personality.
Yeah.
I think is very important when it comes to creating a premium brand. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about this topic.
No, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. But if you have any questions, as always, make sure you comment below, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm working there.